live.
We
I
are
think so.
live. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Courageous Minds podcast, your weekly dose of truth. Naama and Tatyana Ghosh dive into the mind, courage, and what it really means to build a business rooted in feminine energy. Raw conversations, unfiltered perspectives, breaking stigma and illusions. Two women with different missions, united by courage. Here, you will learn to lead your life from the heart, expand beyond limits, and step into a kind of freedom where growth is inevitable and the sky is never the ceiling.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Hello. So exciting.
I
We
just woke.
are
I just
here.
reshared on my wall.
Amazing. We are here live for the first time with the Courageous Minds podcast. And we want to dive in. As we're um, live live on Facebook, we believe most of you here know us. And coming to these lives, you will get to know us better. And so we don't want to have a huge introduction on who we are and what we do. We want it to come naturally as part of the conversation. So we don't waste your time talking about us, and you really get wisdom and the like little solutions for your problems or just inspiration to how you could solve some problems, some discomfort, some like anything that comes up, because none of us is perfect. None of us is perfect. And we have to accept ourselves with those imperfections. And this actually brings us to the topic that we want to dive into today, which is self-worth.
Yes.
Self-worth.
Um, Hi, everyone. I'm Tatyana, and we are very happy to be here with you. And we chose. We will have a specific episode on why we chose courageous minds as the topic of our, as the title of our podcast. Um, and we want to show you in real life uh, life how our courageous minds are operating, and that's why we had a really long conversation yesterday, and we thinking about the topic that is important for us, and we realized that most of our problems, especially for us women, but not only, the root of all of it is self-worth or self-worth issues rather. So we wanted to dive into this topic and give you our perspective from our personal life, from our experiences, and um, we are both coaches and mentors, and we specialize in different areas. Um, and I just want to briefly introduce myself. I work as an empowerment mentor, and my perspective will always be um, helping women go beyond fear and trying to find the ways to live life on our own terms. So this will be always my spin. And Nama, do you want to introduce yourself and
Yeah,
present
of
what will
course,
be
of
your
course.
spin?
Yeah, so I'm Naama, and Yeah, we, uh, same as Tatiana, we are both coaches, uh, mainly online. And what I really help women to do is to improve their relationship, to feel like themselves within their relationships. So have this freedom to express and take up space and just be yourself with yourself and in your relationships with other people. And yeah, I'm really proud of this work because for me it hasn't been a like simple journey to get here. It was a long journey, and it is start with self-worth.
Yeah.
It does. It all starts with it. Like from that place, the relationship that we have with ourselves, how we speak to ourselves, how we accept ourselves, our imperfections, our failures, the whole conversation that we have within our mind before we even come into contact with other people. This is what defines how we stand in front of other people and how safe and comfortable we feel within ourselves when we are with other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to share from my personal point of view is that um, a lot of us, when we start our personal development journeys, we may first go to therapy because we think something is wrong with us or what's wrong, and we are trying to fix it and or to find ways why it happened to get the answers. And often we get a lot of answers, but that doesn't mean that our life improves, um, because again, this when there is this piece, the self-worth piece, that is not addressed in a way that is from here and now, acting from a place of courage, which is the title of our podcast. We tend to, in some area of our life, I believe in the area where we came here specifically in this lifetime to work in at, it could be for some people relationships, for other people it could be money, it could be communications, like starting different things, it could be anything. And I think that's why you will see comparing to other people is never a good idea, because we are on our own journey, and finding the reasons why we fear is normally the reasons why this lack of safety within ourselves is showing up, which is basically the self-worth piece. And I personally grew up in a family where my father um, was always treating me with disencouragement. So he will always say, "Oh, you will." Even though I was a really good student, he will always say, "Tatyana, you will fail. You this will happen to you. That will happen to you." And it was always like the tough love father, like threatening me that bad things will happen to me so that I can become better. And I found out when I started my journey that this was actually a big piece of the puzzle why I was not feeling so secure in myself. And of course, when often when we don't feel innately worthy, we overcompensate with achievements, right? Like a lot of the times, the high achievers and the people who do really good in life normally are compensating for this initial piece, that is, I am worthy and I'm valuable even if I do nothing. And we do so much. And later in life, I discovered through my healing journey, and also now even empowering people, I'm still getting pieces of the puzzle for myself as well, that the more I realize that there is nothing to fear and show myself fully, even though my mind will tell me that I will be judged, that this is stupid, I will look stupid, people will not like what I have to say. Even when my mind is telling me this and is making me fear, I still act on my urges, on my inner impulses, in my creative wave, because this is where the rewards in life lie, like this daring to express myself. And I definitely feel like my journey of self-worth and in general in my soul development is a lot of it has to do with self-expression, allowing myself to speak up. Also, when I was young, my father always interrupted me and was always like, oh, you know nothing, you should just be quiet. So it was like, and I don't want to vilify my father, I just want to point out that it doesn't matter what's the starting point, because some people also grow up in an environment where they are very encouraged and still somehow the self-worth is not very high. um, I just wanted to give like an idea of how where I'm coming from, and and lost my thoughts. But basically, what I'm saying is that daring, like overcoming ourselves, facing our insecurities, facing our fears, um, that's what heals actually the self-worth piece, because we realize how amazing we are when we truly show our real face, and we learn that actually people love us even more. That has been for me
Yeah,
very healing.
I love that. I love that. And then here the questions that come is like, what has been the moment or something that happened that changed it for you? Like what you did or what happened to you that from this insecure place or this unworthiness, you found yourself, you found your worthiness, you found who you are and how amazing you are.
I think it's a process, and I was never insecure. I was always in school. I was acting. I was singing. I was competing in a volleyball team. I was running. So I was not definitely um, insecure, but there was like when I started growing up and wanting big things, there was this inner insecurity. So it was, I was, as I said, I was overachieving on the outside. And when I think the really like very conscious first time where I chose myself and my worth was when I was working. It was just a couple of years ago. I was working with someone who had much more authority than me, and I was slowly feeling how I've outgrown the role I was at, and realize how if I continue working with them, I will never have my voice. I will always be just doing things rather than actually speaking. And I canceled that partnership and started doing my own thing, um, becoming a coach and a mentor. And I always will feel like this was a pivotal moment in my life where basically enough was enough. I really, the voice piece, and bear in mind, I come from a corporate background in marketing in London where I had to do presentations. I had to still speak up, but to truly speak up what my thoughts are, not something prepared and ready business wise, but speak things that are coming through me. This happened just a few years ago, choosing myself and choosing that the wisdom I have to share with clients is valuable, and it doesn't necessarily have to be because I've read 150 books, but it's actually my thoughts, my wisdom, and allowing it to be spoken. And you, do you want to share?
Yeah, of course. Um, yeah, so I actually coming from a very encouraging house,
Mm.
which is interesting because it's the other situation, and the place where I felt I'm getting taking myself back and keeping myself smaller and protecting myself was more actually out of my house, like in public with as a child with other kids, and this was the place that I felt unsafe.
Mm.
But at home, I felt very safe, very encouraged, and it was actually going out there. It was society that made me feel that I'm not belonging and I'm different, or, and like I couldn't really find myself and express myself. So I shut down, and I was very, very quiet child. Like I wouldn't say almost nothing. I would just stay quiet, look around, observe, and
I was the opposite.
yeah.
I remember when my grandma was telling me that if you shut my mouth, my ass will start speaking, something like this, as a child. But the programming
Yes,
starts later, kicks in later.
yes, yes. So it's interesting. And I think the moment that really changed that for me, because although I was very quiet and very like very closed within myself, like within my own shell. Uh, I I did always follow the thing that I wanted to do. And so from quite young age, I wanted to travel to South America. And the moment I could, I did it. So when I was 20, I went by myself to travel. And back then it felt safer actually to go by myself because I felt more comfortable within my own skin than with other people.
Mhm.
So it felt natural to me to just go alone. And I went alone for seven months in South America. And so it's not one moment, it's a few months period. But I can really see this period as a very pivotal time in my life on many different levels. But it was the time that I had to be with myself, really.
Mm.
Like not just escaping from other people to be with myself, but really be with myself, solve my own problems, go, like find myself in the world where I'm meeting different people and and learning to ask for help because you're alone by yourself. Sometimes you need somebody's help. And and so I think this process of going out of the environment that the environment that's defined you in a way, or you define yourself within it. So, like, this is the environment where you know yourself, and going to another environment where you need to get to know yourself again because everything is different. So, you act differently. I think this changed a lot in my self-worth and how I can take care of myself and really have this confidence that I'm here for myself no matter what, and I'm okay. And and from that place, I could much easier start open to other people. And in a way, it's also when you see different environments and different culture, it's opening you up also to to see that this expectations that you imagined your society have from you are just this society's expectations, and there are so many other things, other options available in the world. So
Yeah.
so you can just release this expectation, and the expectation is from yourself to meet the expectation of the society, right? So yeah, it's
So did I hear correct that basically um you went to travel to South America, and that's when you realized you left the protected nest where everything was very nurturing, and that's when you realized, oh, I can actually rely on myself also. I don't need someone to
Mhm.
protect me. I'm capable, and I
Yeah,
and that gave you safety with yourself, so that no matter what you do, you will always have yourself.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Hmm.
And what is
Yeah.
self-worth really? What is this? How do you
What is
describe?
self-worth? Yeah, so I think one of the mistakes many of us do, like when we speak about worth, we see it as like something that we can gain, right?
Yeah.
It's very connected also to the material world and to our achievements, and
Yeah.
like it's it's something that we can work hard to get there.
Yeah.
And I actually believe that our self-worth is like our birthright. It's like it doesn't, it's not really connected to everything around us. And this is the place that where we come to these relationships with ourselves, that we really love and accept everything. We can see, okay, I'm worthy of all of the things that I want, and I'm worthy of great people around me treating me well. I'm worthy of all of the good stuff that available in this world. And yeah, I'm worthy of joy, and I'm worthy of care, and I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of all of it. Like, so, because one of the things which we also had uh, spoken about yesterday in our conversation was this, like, I cannot say like how good I am because am I worthy of it, right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't want to skip to this yet, but because it's really interesting
mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
to 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 dwell a little bit more on, because the self-worth piece is like, it's all the psychologists, they tell you it's your birthright, and and exactly you I think a lot of people confuse it with confidence, and that's why in my experience I've seen, especially for example here in Ibiza where there is a lot of wealthy people, I see so often this complex, like it's just so much material, like you will get the shiny car, but the way I experience the person presenting themselves, it could be arrogance, it could be closeness. It's like you feel the person that is not the person themselves is not open. It's they're protecting something, which means there is fear, or the arrogance is also a protection mechanism, right? Or like yeah, like feeling like you cannot access the person when you speak to them, and confidence is amazing, but the really delicious feeling that helps us to feel good in life is when we know that we are valuable, even if we have 10 cents in the pocket, that it doesn't, that as a human life, as a beating heart, I'm as valuable as any other human that has achieved this or that. I'm valuable because I am alive and I'm a human, and I'm here. And then, of course, it's amazing for us to develop our self-esteem and our confidence and do amazing things in this world. The doing is not bad. It's just addressing this deep sense of safety within myself, that I've got myself, but also I because I've got myself and because I know this inherent value that I have, that also in the world I have my people who will recognize that, where I will truly belong, and acting from that place outward, not doing things outward and hoping that I will fix the inward, but it comes from in outside, like from within. And I think that's why it's so important for people to understand this piece, because otherwise, no matter how much money they have, they feel insecure. They feel, or we feel, it's me included. It's like and this brings back to the topic. It's like how we can praise ourselves, or how we can feel like we have enough and we are safe, and that always money will come, or always safety will come, or always the right person will come, or always the opportunities will come. I think also self-worth, true self-worth, is very spiritual if you think about this, because it's our connection to the source, right? So the same way when a woman births a baby, and it's like the most valuable thing that you can hold in your hands, it's like you wouldn't trade it for gold, for nothing. It's baby, it's life, it's future. The same way this baby, when it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, is still this baby, is still this beating heart. That's the most valuable thing. It's life itself. And sometimes I'm thinking how, like, it's amazing how humans have advanced, that we have advanced our brain and our awareness and consciousness. And at the same time, it kind of it can pull us away from our intrinsic value, that I I don't know, from 2 million uh, sperm cells, it was the one that made it, like, into the egg, and it was me, and I'm here for a reason, and I will do good things, but the fact that I'm here, it's enough.
Yes. Yes, it is. And
I wonder how children will be if we speak to them this way, like, because what is it, like, our programming is always like, oh, you have to go to school and prove your worth and prove how much you can memorize and study all the subjects that don't matter later in life, and 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 prove yourself, right? Prove that you are better than the other kids.
mhm. Yeah, I believe that's is changing already
Yeah.
because because well, I don't know exactly, but the people who raise kids right now are our generation, and I believe there is a lot of awareness, and like I believe awareness is always growing, So each generation has this greater awareness than the previous one in in different ways, of course. And so I believe this is changing, and I believe there are many kids right now that are growing with this way, with their parents speaking to them this way. Um, and we will have to wait and see what happens, like if it really changes the thing, or because the reason we confuse confidence with self-worth is because it's very connected to each other, right? Like you have your self-worth, so you feel more confident, but then you have more competence, so you feel more confident, and then you feel more worthy. Like it comes like the both ways. So So there is the option that you go out to the world, you create something great, and then you can actually from that place see yourself and say, okay, yeah, I am worthy.
If you
And
can separate yourself from that identity. But if you
or
attach yourself to the identity of the achiever, then it means that you're worthy because you have achieved, not because you are worthy.
yeah, so so what I'm saying, it can happen both way. It won't always happen.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah, it requires this awareness of like, okay, I created this great thing. Everybody's speaking so beautifully about me. So now wait a minute, let's look at me. Oh yeah, there is a reason they speak so good about me. So I can see it in myself right now, and I can speak to myself in this way right now. And then from like it maybe first they needed to go out there to see it and then to come back and see it within themselves. And
I think it requires this introspection, yeah, for sure. Like, I think
mhm,
if we are focused for anyone in this world, if we are just focused on like achievement, 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 there have in most people's lives, there comes a point where either they achieve everything they wanted or they break on the way, and life forces us in either way. If you have achieved everything, and if you've achieved everything and then you are like, why I'm still unhappy, and then you start being more introverted and finding the missing pieces. Or if you break on the way, you realize, oh, why I'm breaking myself to prove my worth, and then again you find. But in all of the cases, sooner or later life puts us in an introversion
mhm,
phase. And it's very interesting because also in the mainstream world, if you don't do this introversion, the one of the things that prevents you from introversion is distractions, right? Like just drinking after work every day, or just watching movies, binging reels, um, like the really, and feeling good requires addressing it, looking at the thing rather than avoiding it, because avoiding it is very short term kind of a aspirant solution, right? Like you just um, do the painkiller, but just until the next morning, and then you work yourself out and you drink or you distract yourself with work. A lot of women, the distraction is taking care of everyone else, so I don't have time to think about myself and go to my yoga class or the gym, or really to just meditate and heal find my missing bits of the puzzle, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. It is. It always comes back to the relationship you have with yourself. So either
Exactly.
if you go out there and find it through others, that others first, and I believe most of us find it through others first, and that's the reason we actually need so much validation. It's because when we are child, we really look for it in others. Like we receive it from our parents from a very like from birth, and then we are used to receive it from the outside, and we don't need to look for it within ourselves. And of course, we don't even think about it at that age, right? Like when you're 3, you don't think like, am I worthy? No, you just ask for what you want, and if you can receive it, you start to believe that you're worthy, and if you don't get it, then unworthiness starts to come in, when when your needs aren't met in those young ages. So yeah, so I believe the most important thing here in this conversation is actually like to find a ways to, okay, how you come back to this place,
Yeah.
right? Like how you come back to this relationship with yourself, and build this worth within you without depending on the outside.
I think
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
it's just like most of the times life will have to hit a wall in order to look for it. Something will not work, right? Like something will not work, and then we'll be like, why is it not working? And then we start looking, we create the space to look inside, and then we start finding, oh, I was in my relationship, let's say in my relationships in my 20s and my 30s, I was very I now looking back, I could see how I was where I was compromising on myself because of self-worth issues, because I believe that I have to um, prove prove that I'm worthy, that I have to show someone how valuable I am as a girlfriend. I had to deserve to be loved. So what I was doing was overgiving a lot, overgiving until I break myself, or until yeah until I empty my cup, and then I start demanding, and then they're like, oh, but you were giving until now, what happened? And it's always when something breaks, we start facing our coping mechanisms, and we realize why I'm so. And also it's very interesting, for example, for me, my relationships have definitely been a, a pathway to understanding my unworthiness and how I have lived it in the past. It's always been I used to always overgive a lot, um, and I was very mad that I was not met with the same giving. But of course, when one is giving, the other is receiving, and it's just like the polarity of a relationship. And this also applies a lot of the times in friendships. It's always like if someone is in the more masculine, namely giving, the others is more the other receives more. And it's nice when in a good relationship is when these roles are changing. We all have masculine and feminine sides within ourselves. Um, and in my case, I was overgiving, especially actually in my 20s, maybe not so much, I think, or maybe in my late 20s, I think in some, when a certain relationship broke, that's when I felt like, oh, until then everything was working very well. And then I was like, a guy I was with, he broke up with me. I was 24, I believe. And like from one day to another stopped talking to me, and I think that also unlocked something of unworthiness. I was like, oh, how from then onwards I was like, if I was not chosen in that moment, then I'm not worthy enough. Something activated inside of me. So I think from that point onwards, I became much more masculine in the relationships in terms of giving too much, um, and like texting first, planning, doing things for them, buying presents and all these things. And it just, it's so nice to, in some point, life, um, yeah, takes us to the right place to understand that this is not feeling good for a woman. To overgive, it's always good to be reciprocated and to withdraw and to analyze yourself so that you come to a place of worth and peace and celebrating yourself and knowing that if someone wants to choose us, they will choose us regardless of what we are doing. It's not about the doing, it's the being part that attracts people to us. And it's such a good thing to also for jobs, for because often, for example, a lot of people at their workplace, they overgive so much, like they want to overachieve in order for their managers to love them and appreciate them. And while this is important in a corporate environment, it's so important in order for us to get the pay rise, the yeah, the increase of like changing the role, like promotion and all this. It's so much more important who we become and how we hold ourselves in a more leadership position than how much we are doing. Doers are normally always trying to deserve. It's kind of
Mm.
feels unworthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's really interesting that you brought that because it's actually in the relationship where you see it reflected back to you. Like the moment that you get to meet other people is the moment that you see the reflection of like, oh, I'm overgiving. So, or I, or I'm shutting down, or I'm like all of those signs that shows you, okay, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm I'm like internalizing things that aren't really mine. And in those relationships is the place that you get the reflection. So I believe it's always good to go into yourself because this is where you do the work and change the conversation within you, in your mind, in your body, like nourish the relationship that you have with your body. And because one, like, especially for women, one of the places where we feel very unworthy is with how we look and how is our body. And like this comes from birth, like how your body shape is yours. You're the first one who needs to love it.
Yeah.
And so it's nourishing this relationship with the body, with how you look and how you hold yourself and like what you've got from nature. And and then when you do this work with yourself of self-nourishment, then when you go out into the world and meeting other people, you see this reflection back to you. And and when you respect yourself, then you will find the people that respect you. And it's naturally happens because when you respect yourself, you naturally don't accept somebody who wouldn't. So
Correct.
and the same thing like when you love yourself, you naturally don't accept the people that don't love you. And so it all starts with this self-nourishment and self-care and self-love and how you talk to yourself. So like being kind to yourself, have grace and really come to this acceptance.
And it's
Like
almost what you are saying is like life is giving us constant feedback loop.
yeah, always,
Where are you
always.
at? Or where? And sometimes also is testing us, even though we are,
Of course,
it
always.
feels okay, right?
Yeah, always like, yeah, I've done with that. And then you meet the person that's like, okay, am I? And then, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example, there is always people that if you're working on your self-worth, or increasing your worth, like feeling truly worthy, always finding people who make you feel small is the test. Can you get to a place where you feel equal and good to speak to anyone without disturbance in your voice, without shrinking? It's a really, really good test.
It is, it is. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for me, I had recently a test when my parents came to visit me here. And And I have a very beautiful relationship with my parents. We speak every week and like everything is like really beautiful and open relationship. And like we are sharing stuff with each other. And, yeah. And then when they came here, there were reactions that I had to them that I totally didn't expect to have. I didn't expect it at all. Like
Like, for
impassion,
example, what?
like impatience like with little things or like really like body reaction, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt shame when it came up because like first of all they don't deserve this, but also I know it means like, okay, this is how I react to myself too, you know, when I have like this like
Slowness or something.
yeah, yeah, or not slowness, but for example, one of the things is um like for example when my mom needed my attention or needed help with something or needed me to bring her things because of course it's not her house, it's not her home, she doesn't know where things are, and and so it felt like extra work for me to go and bring all the things that she needed, and of course it's basic to give these things, right? But knowing that these things brought so much impatience in me, it's like, okay, so like what happened when I need something, and like I need me to bring myself something. Like this is the way I'm reacting to myself too. Like this is a reflection. So yeah, and it was, and so I felt the shame first because like why do I treat them this way? But then second, because do I treat myself this way? So yeah, it was very
What did you do?
what did I do? Yeah, so they've been here for 2 months, and during these 2 months, I took like whenever I had a little moment, I took time to express it to myself. So either in writing or in like movement or also speaking with my husband. Like he was very present with me in this, and then um, once they left, I took time for myself, like to really take care of myself, like really nourish myself, like
What did you do?
probably a week that I was with myself, very slow, like not rushing to do anything. Um, Taking like foot bath with salt and like simple things, going out to nature. I go walking every day with my dog, so I would take those walks for longer and stay in the viewpoint, um, and really sit with myself and listen to myself and listen to my thoughts and listen to my like to my emotions that comes up from it.
And also one thing
And
that comes to me is like this for example, if your parents were with you for 2 months, probably after 2 weeks, even even after 1 week, like for someone who doesn't live with them on a regular basis, the impatience was also showing you where you had to take some time for yourself. Like this was a boundary. Like okay,
Mhm.
and you were also doing like you are intuitively taking the time to, instead of like becoming verbally aggressive, to like just take time for yourself to journal and let it out in another forum, so transforming it. Because I think also our impatience, yeah, it shows us a mirror to ourselves, but also it shows us, okay, this is my human reaction to something that is too much right now. So, and as when I value myself more than this idea to be the good girl, to always serve people without ever getting tired, without ever like needing to rest, like always giving, because maybe a lot of us have seen this from our mothers, grandmothers, and when we feel like, oh, I really don't want to do this, I'm impatient, we judge ourselves. And this is also a self-worth thing, because it's like, oh, so if I don't take care of my parents, I'm not a good daughter. So I feel bad about it, instead of saying, oh, I've done quite a lot already. Now I will really take care of myself and spend some time with myself, even though they're here only 2 months, every, I don't know, 2 years, let's say. It doesn't matter. It's like now I really feel I need to nurture myself. And that's more important to me than to be 24/7 with them, but miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and it is putting these boundaries. It is putting these boundaries. And I don't believe that other people need to pay for the way I feel, you know?
Exactly.
Like if I feel
But they
impassioned,
do if I don't take care of myself. They do pay.
exactly. Exactly. So if I'm impatient in this example, so if I'm impatient and then it comes in my reactions, in the way I speak, in the, in the way I am, then like it's seen, then they're paying for the way I feel. And that's something that I don't believe they deserve, and me neither. So
Frankly, no one.
yeah, no one, no one. And so it is come back to this self-respect and self-worth of like, okay, I take care of myself right now. I'm taking a moment to myself, and let's nourish me with what I need, and then nobody else will pay for my flows, you know?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. I think if a human
Yeah.
takes the time to know themselves well and to know, oh, the moments I become impatient is because I've done too much and now it's time to rest and to nurture myself. If I already know this information, it means that I already have this sense of worth to spend this time not just in do, but actually to have done the self-reflecting beforehand and know myself. I think to know yourself, you have to take to spend. I think if you really feel a worthy person, you give yourself. It's kind of you want to give yourself this time to know yourself. You become curious about yourself. Maybe that's a good also kind of we are heading towards the end of the show, so it's like it's a good clue, like it's a good starting point. The curiosity about oneself is it's showing already that we are working on our self-worth, right?
Yeah.
Like more I'm
Yeah, yeah,
curious
it's a
about
good
myself.
sign. It's a good sign. Yeah, and just before we go there, I also um want to say that like we s- we came to all of this from this, that's there are tests. People, the world, everything will always test you. So you always come back again to a situation where you're tested. And so those are the moments that, okay, I was impatient and I felt shame. And then now, okay, so do I expand this shame and talk so badly to myself, like how bad I am, how like like this, like create more guilt in this, or you speak to yourself, okay, yeah, I'm not perfect. It's okay. I'm safe to be myself. I'm safe to be here. I'm safe to take time for myself. It's okay that I fail sometimes. I'm like being really kind to yourself with this, like
I think
because
most people need to learn to do this. I feel
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's a later step on the journey how you speak to
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yes, and I think it's really important because when those tests are coming to you, then how do you speak to yourself? How kind are you? Like how open you are to have mistakes in your life, to to cross your own boundary and then come back.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
mistakes, forgiving yourself about your mistakes and actually even being proud of your mistakes and being like, well done for trying, Tatyana, Naama. It's like it's a
Mhm.
really good sign for a healthy self-worth. if we beat ourselves up a lot, if you are someone listening and you're like, I'm not sure, it's like this is the piece that, and also it's very cool that it gets developed a lot in entrepreneurship, because the moment you start building your business and you fail a few times, it's a really good test. And it also, a lot of people in business, they don't really are not so, they're curious to make money, but the actual business launch, it becomes a very personal development experience, where you realize that it takes a lot of courage to fail and to stand up and do it again, and fail and stand up and do it again, and forgive yourself, and set yourself up with this learning mindset, rather than be like, oh, I'm a loser, I didn't get it right the first time. And I think that is where we also develop this healthy relationship to our worth, and that we are, I always love to say that we are all humans, coming here to learn, to experience, to feel, to understand, and having this at the front of our mind, that this is the starting point. um, and whatever at the end happens, it's okay. I also believe in reincarnation, so we have many lifetimes to try again. And the thing that helps us be successful on the outside, which all of us want, is actually getting right this first piece of like loving ourselves no matter what, at first place, so that we are not this stepmom to ourselves, that I will only love you when you're very rich and when you're very smart and when you're very successful. But no, I love you at this starting point, because I know what you have been through, and I love you.
Yeah, and I also know what you're capable of, and I know you have a lot of potential within you. And like, yeah, it's totally okay that you're here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
here with you.
And I'm sure, like, as we're speaking, there's a lot of people having a lot of questions and thinking about them. So I always love to tell you to share with us in the comments. In this Facebook, we'll for now let these videos live on Facebook. Um,
Yeah, we also upload them to YouTube, so you can later on
you can find it.
listen without your screen on always. So you can leave it at the back and listen. Um,
And yeah, please let us know what you think, where you are at on your path, and yeah.
yeah, let us
We
know what was most helpful for you, where maybe you need more help, what will be interesting to you to dive deeper into. We always love to hear your side of this.
and we will meet you next time on Facebook live.
Yes, yes, yes. Meet you. See you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, we are very happy and excited and also grounded and like connected to this podcast and this mission to really help you step into taking action and moving courageously in the direction that your life is calling you to move to. So we are here for this. So thank you so much again for joining, and we'll
See
see
you
you
next
next week.
time. Bye.
Bye.